Hi, this video we are going to look at inorganic growth, and the definition of that is a merger, takeover or acquisition in order to grow externally using external businesses, bringing them into yours. Inorganic growth. I'll go over it in a little bit more detail now. So, inorganic growth is where the business grows externally via a takeover or a merger. So your takeover is sometimes forced, sometimes hostile, and it might be because you're in financial trouble and another business comes over and buys you out. It might be that you've got shares open on the stock market and another business is buying them and buying them and buying them and eventually gets the majority share and therefore has majority decisions in the voting process and therefore can take over. So an acquisition just means the means to purchase, to acquire something. So a takeover is done that way. And as of March 2020, Mike Ashley's got 49% of the share value of Newcastle United, I believe. So therefore, if them shares ever get on the stock market and then he buys them, he's got the majority share takeover. On the other side, we've got mergers. They can be friendly and mutual. They're agreed, not necessarily by everybody in the organisation, but the people at the top would say, right, this is mutually benefit for the both of us. Let's get together. Let's be as one. So that is a merger. So takeover can be quite hostile. Merger, more friendly and a mutual agreement. So Summerfield, some of you might recognise it, some of you might not. That was a takeover where Co-op buys Summerfield for 1.57 billion. So what they did is they were struggling financially. Co-op have come in, they've got this large amount of money and they've just taken over it. Summerfield have gone. They've totally been acquired by the Co-op. And that was just research I found on the internet. Sainsbury's and Asda, they have tried to merge before, mutual agreement, getting together as one, but they cannot. Sainsbury's and Asda attempt another merge, they've already done it before, but the Competition and Market Authority have declined that. And what that would have been because is with the large amount of market share that Asda's got and the market share that Sainsbury's got, being together, there would have been more than the market leader. They would own more than half of the whole market. Now, by doing that, it means that choice will be reduced. And if you own too much of the market share, then what that might mean is that they could potentially price fix. So in your area, if your local two supermarkets, Asda and Sainsbury's, within a so many mile radius, and they're as one, then they could potentially price fix and control because they're so strong in that marketplace. And it also might mean that other supermarkets and smaller retail outlets selling food would not be able to compete because their economies of scale, their buying power would be so huge in comparison. So to protect the public, to protect other businesses, and in order to give us choice, then that would have been declined. But who are Sainsbury's working with? They couldn't merge with Asda, but who have they merged with? So other mergers, mutual, Unichem and Boots. That £7 billion merger has meant that Boots has over 52% of the market, which I know is large. Obviously just scraped through in terms of the acceptance from the government. But what that means for Boots is that they have that buying power. They have that brand strength and I guess it would be about service provision. With it being pharmaceuticals and drugs, I guess that it's supposedly more beneficial for them because they'll be able to pass on the savings to us. As a result of that merger, it might have meant that they don't need as much staff. It might mean that they've got more coverage of products across the UK. Now, Sports Direct takeover and Debenhams, that's a £90 million deal. House of Fraser and other stores have seen difficulty simply because of our habits of buying online. I think some departmental department stores selling expensive designer goods and not really embracing the online have seen a decline in sales. They've been in trouble, and Mike Ashley from Sports Direct is pinpointing these and then taking them over. Jack Wills, Debenhams, House of Fraser, all upon his portfolio. Now, feel free to research. It's a very interesting read about the growing empire of taking over some of these businesses and making them his own. So pause for thought, just for 15 minutes, and think about the advantages and the disadvantages of merging with another business. Think about the advantages and disadvantages of taking over another business. Think about different points of view here in order for you to get the detail for the grade 7 and 8 and 9. How does that affect staff? How does that affect customers? How does that affect the employees in that organisation? How's it affecting profits of the overall business? It's these different perspectives, these different points of view that will probably give you more of a balance in terms of advantages, pros and cons, and disadvantages. So pause for thought. So, advantages of merging. You are reducing your competition because your competition is now with you. So you're all on the same side. You're batting on the same team. It increases your market power, enables you to benefit from economies of scale, lowering your costs, therefore reducing them costs and increasing your profit margins. You're gaining new ideas. Then businesses might do it absolutely and totally different. So what you can do is you can get together and share ideas and work together to improve services and products. And I guess you don't need staff. So that might mean getting rid of some of your workers, removing workers. You could be more efficient and make more profit. I think what you need to do with them advantages then is think about how others would feel. Okay, so from a customer's point of view, I suppose you're not going to know much difference providing the prices are staying the same. I mean, the business could control prices where then prices could see a rise, or they could say, you know what, we're getting cheaper costs now because we're reducing staff and we're getting our unit costs are cheaper because of a greater use of economies of scale. So therefore we can pass on cheaper prices to customers. That might be the case. But some consumers might pay higher price due to the lack of competition. There is going to be less choice for that consumer. It might also mean that the brand loyalty and things change. You know, if you've always shopped at Jack Wills and then you know now it's managed by Sports Direct, you might see a change in quality, a change in price and a change in consumer perception. For firms, then businesses might have different objectives and different targets, so that they might come to loggerheads and clashing over that. One business might be focused on ethical practices, recycling and waste, whereas another business might be really driven with high profit margins. Obviously, it costs a lot of money to do the merger or a takeover. Anything like that costs an awful lot of money. You've got to go through awful lot of red tape in order to get it processed. So with your Asda and your Sainsbury's, that's been rejected a couple of times now. That will come at a cost. There's also going to be communication problems. Who is doing what? Getting everyone in sync and being the same. So making sure everyone's using the same processes. It might be that in terms of your staffing, that might need retraining or a restructure in order to embrace everybody and to get it all the same. So YouTube and Google, quite a famous merger. I will put the link in the description if I remember. And you've got to think about the reasons behind the move. Why would Google merge with YouTube? And then think about all the problems that they've faced when doing it. It's a really, really interesting watch. I can't take any credit for it, but it talks about the strength of YouTube and the strength of Google, and then coming together to have that power. In my belief, this is my prediction, March 2020, that the Google YouTube empire together will be one to compete with a Netflix in the future. Just saying.